This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason OG. It's all happening, mate. Before we start the show and get into the episode, just want to let everyone know, if they do not have any plans, they want to come see us, we will be with Jim Beam and Panthers Penrith Leagues Club hosting the first ever Jim Beam Live Legends on the day of the Vegas games on Sunday, the 2nd of March.
How good's that? Who we're going to go with the sauce, eh? Josh Mansour?
The big sauce. Because we're heading out to Penrith.
We can't go by ourselves.
Nah, look, I grew up in Western Sydney. You tick the box of having a Clive Churchill Australian, New South Wales player out there, but we needed some Panthers flavour, mate. And to get Josh Mansour involved, he keeps telling me he's, even though he wasn't a part of the grand final or winning grand final, he started the culture out there, and that's been the reason behind the four-peat. So Sauce can elaborate on that for us.
I'll ask him a few questions about that.
Yeah, we'll get Saucy to elaborate on that. He's obviously doing great work with Foxy and that and the Let's Trot crew. Podcast and does some really good guest podcasts. The session kicks off at 10:30 a.m. in the basement of the Leagues Club, but the doors open at 10 a.m. We'll be chatting all things footy, and we'll be handing out free Jim Beam merch throughout the day as well. It's the place to be before the Panthers boys kick off in Vegas, so you get to watch your team at Panthers Penrith Leagues Club. That's where the boys do their best work out those ways. So come and see us with Jim Beam, presented by Jim Beam, and we'll be talking all things Vegas, all things rugby league.
That'd be fun, man. I haven't been out there for a while.
A little bit of trivia, and we'll have some fun while we're out there.
Might ring the pig, the great Craig Gow, to get out there.
Does he still live out those ways?
He's out there, mate. Okay. Yeah, he's working hard, mate. One of the greats. He's a great friend of mine. But yeah, he's still out in Penrith. Concrete and just works hard, man. Works hard.
I haven't had much to do with Craig Gow. You've told me a number of stories. He was on the buy round talking about the 2003 grand final. Yeah. Some of the stories that he told.
And the Kangaroo tour.
And then he talked. it was specifically about Jam has been doing a series with grand final, like the same one as Ogre and Rennie did, but for the 03. And with me knowing a little bit of the stories that you've told me and meshing it in with some of the stories that he was able to tell on the podcast, and then
put it together
and trying to figure out like what really happened. It's he's
Gary's one of the greats.
He seems like an absolute character.
No, he is. I mean, he's slept on out there. I mean, when they name, just saying 20 years the best Panthers side, he might be left out of it because of Cleary. Do you know what I'm saying?
He was a legend out there when I was growing up.
He's nearly 300 games for that club. Yeah. He won a competition. So if they're going to name a 13, I don't think he'd be in it. They name a 17, he's in the 14. He's in the 14 jersey.
Who's the spine? Brandy's got to be in there.
Brandy's going to be there as well. Probably who's going to be fullback? Dylan Edwards or Brandy?
Reece Wesser.
Brandy, Freddie at 6, and Cleary at 7.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? There'll be a lot of people that live in
It's a big chat, but I always think of that team when this great team has been there now. You're just going to sleep on that early 2000s team.
People sleep on Brandy from our generation.
Yeah,
they don't realise how good Brandy was.
Brandy's skill set was massive, and he could play fullback, halfback. That's like back then.
He was before his time.
Way before his time.
Yeah. Dylan Edwards has obviously been unreal. Yeah. Reece Wash is a good shout. Good shout there. He's underrated.
I think
as well.
I'll just put the other best players on the bench.
Preston
I'm not trying
Campbell.
to. Yeah, man. It's a team. Steve Carter. He was
Steve Carter. Yeah. Steve Carter was the Mickey.
Yeah. So I said, because
I'm probably forgetting some
people. I take the piss out of Gowie. Yeah. I said, you're not even one of the greats out there. You're not even on Mount Rushmore. You were 10 years ago.
Here we go. I know people fucking. I knew there would have been Jerome Luai. We haven't even mentioned Jerome.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's the 6. Yeah. He is the 6. He's a lock.
Jerome's the 6. Not over Freddie. No way.
Oh man, how many games did Freddie play for that club? It's going to go back on that.
Yeah, it could be. Oh yeah. By the way,
4 comps, bro.
So this is we interviewed Paul Gallen, who made the Hall of Fame for Cronulla, and there was a criteria for it. You had to play at least 100 games for the competition. If you hadn't won a comp, which is the 16 team, to be eligible for the Hall of Fame, then you had to play at least 100 games. So that's why our good friend Greg Bird didn't make the Hall of Fame. Nah, the list was unreal. I was joking around.
Big Jason Stevens made it.
Jason Stevens made it. Both Matt and Steve Rogers made it, which was highly emotional for everyone that was there apparently. E.T. was an obvious one.
Brett Camorley.
Noddy made it.
Noddy, good on him.
And one of the OGs for New Zealand who sort of paved the way for Kiwis know. Dane Sorensen.
Dane Sorensen, yeah, okay.
Dane Sorensen.
Yeah.
He was one of the first Kiwis to sort of come over, ply their trade.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Once Kiwis started coming over and like the Sammy Stewarts and that of the world,
Mark Graham.
then you got the Olsen Filipanas and all them, and that's where the Polynesian influence started, the Kiwi
Good
influence
shout.
started.
Good
so
work. It's good for
congrats to
Cronulla.
everyone. Apologies for a couple of names that I forgot there. But yeah, Hall of Fames. It's when these lists do come out as well, and we will just sort of ad-lib talking about it out at Penrith, there are so many good names that miss out on things like this. So to be able to, if you do make a Hall of Fame like that, it's such an honour because, like I said, there are so many good names. Like Wade Graham wasn't on the list. I would have thought Wado would have been, if not.
No, I think you have to be retired for 5 years.
Okay.
I think that might be the criteria as well.
Okay.
Because
That
Wade
makes sense
Graham should be in there.
Yeah.
Easily. He's played over 200 games for that club.
I would have thought Wade
competition.
Graham, yeah.
He was at his peak at Cronulla, changed the culture there. So, yeah, I think it's the 5 years. He's only been retired for 2.
2, yes.
Yeah.
2.
I didn't realise he played when we're at Narrabri.
Yeah.
And he's like, only retired last year.
Well, he got the thing that was confusing with Wade is he did his Walk of Fame of retirement a year late after he retired.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I'm like, when did you retire? He goes, just now. So he'll be first ballot Hall of Famer at Cronulla.
All right, let's get straight into the show. By the way, we said we were going to, because Mace, actually just give an update. How did the specialists go on Monday? Because the reason we missed the last 3 games was because you had to go Sam. How's that?
Yeah, I had to get it all restrapped and everything. I didn't realise how severe it was, because it was probably full of anaesthetic and everything. So there's like just a zigzag down there, and it's cut all the way halfway down my forearm, but the stitches are inside. And then it's from here, and from here all the way up to there is like a massive big cut as well, where they switch the ulnar nerve around. So it's pretty mental.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until she took the lady took it off, and I went, no wonder it fucking kills. So I've got to see you next Monday. Hopefully get the stitches out and then start the proper rehab from there. Just got to, it's patience with this stuff and nerves, and I just want to get it back. You know, I've got so much movement in these fingers already, right? And it's been a week today, so I can only imagine what 6 months to a year is going to do if I do all the right things. So, you know,
look at that, it's way better than
way better, heaps. And that little fingers needs to come back. That one I was very concerned about that, but yeah, they did a great job. So it's got to be patient, right? It's going to take a while. You know, I'm not sure whether when I can go back in the gym or not, because I'm pretty sure I don't feel like I could lift a fucking ant.
That's going to be hard for you.
Yeah, so I need to just walk.
We're both really active.
I just need to walk. I think when the stitches come out on Monday and I can sweat, I'll just be fucking walking around everywhere, getting in saunas and everything like that. Just always a silver lining with stuff, and I'll probably just just chill out for a little bit.
I when I did my rib after the 9s, I probably spent 2 weeks where I couldn't do much at all and just I was in pain. So I was walking a fair bit, and you start to get the back in the couple of weeks. So you take it off for granted.
Yeah, she's like, don't sweat.
Yeah,
like do not sweat at all. I was like, all right, sweet. It's fucking horizontal.
Also, by the way, before I forget, sorry I didn't have it in my notes, Mace. We did the tab bunker yesterday, which is a concept. So shout out to Matt, Mitch, and Jimmy who joined us, who are huge contributors to our show in the YouTube comments over the last couple of years. And the concept is fans asking experts, which were Mace, Laurie, and Josh Reynolds directly questions, and then having the ability to then ask a question on top of a question. Mace might have been directed a question to begin with, but then Laurie could chip in.
Yeah.
And we got some devastating news which broke with Laurie being there, which was huge, obviously, and devastating for everyone, which we'll get to in a bit. But look out for that coming up on the Tab socials, and then we'll be sharing some of the content.
That was good.
We're looking forward to it. We're going to be doing that throughout the year. So if you want to be a part of that, I did pick Jimmy, Matt, and Mitch for this episode, but I am going to mix it up pending teams that we're getting, experts that we get in. So
get a Warriors fan on.
I'd love to get a Warriors fan.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to get a Warriors fan.
And a Tigers fan.
I want to get representation of most clubs. So we had a Penrith and Sharks fan on due to
South.
The Vegas round being coming up first, and Jimmy was a South fan, which ended
hard South,
which ended up being perfect for the episode. Even though
I feel sorry for Cam Murray, but he was shattered. You can tell that the ripple effect what Cam Murray has, right? he's a great human being. If you don't like South or anything like that, you still like Cam Murray.
Top 3 most likeable players in the competition.
Easy.
Jakey, number 1.
I was going to say that.
I reckon maybe Cam or split between podium silver for Cam Murray and Brian Toto.
Yep.
They're the 3.
Fair shout.
They're the podium for anyone. Doesn't care what team you go for. You like all 3 of those guys no matter what. Let's get to just finishing up on the games that we forgot to get to. And by the way, a few comments about like not spending enough time on teams and missing teams and whatever. It's trials. It's week 1 of trials. Half the rosters weren't there. We're going to see some more team lists. Relax. Footy's around the corner. Vegas is next week. Chill out. Here's a little bit of a summary of what happened in those games. Mace, Broncos 50 defeat the Titans 12. I thought the Broncos were dominant early, and I thought their body language just in general, even before they went and kicked on, they looked so much fitter, mate.
It looks strong, built. You know what I mean? Like no one looks sloppy. You know that everyone's trained their asses off. Everyone looked on.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the team they're putting out this week.
Okay,
against our Bulldogs, they're going to be stacked. They're going to put all their big boys back in.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see. That'll be a good trial, that.
Yep.
Won't be a fucking trial. These games, this last game, this is not a trial. This is on. For at least 40 minutes, it's on.
All right, I've got the team list a little bit later on.
Yeah.
This is what I wrote before the team list come out, which confirmed what I thought. I wrote there's genuine competition for hooker, middle front row, so wherever Paddy Carrigan doesn't play, left edge back row, and then bench spots. And I also wrote down I'm rooting for Billy Walters.
Yeah.
He had a good game. He's in a really tough situation with his dad being moved on. I think he's a better player than people give him credit for and has improved a lot. But because Kevy was his coach, I hope he has a big year this year.
He can play.
Yep.
It's just a positional place for him. What is he a 9? Is he a 7? Is he a utility? Can someone take the 9 from him? You know, that's what they seem to be suffering with, is a genuine 9, because he's a half, mate. He's a makeshift 9.
Yeah.
Pakes, that kid.
I think he'll. We'll get to it in a bit, and I don't want to.
How do you pronounce his name?
Pakes.
Pakes. Yeah, he's a genuine 9. You can tell.
He's been around for about 3 or 4 years in the system as well.
Yeah, right.
So he's going to get first crack. There we go. So Billy Walters most likely will be given the 14 jersey, if at any.
Yeah.
It'll be hit between him and Smoothie, I guess, maybe if they're looking for a hooker to come off the bench and play some time, with Moser missing some time as well. Mariner was on the wing in this game, which was concerning. And then, again, that's something else that's been confirmed with the team list. That's what I wrote with. I said, look, when I was watching the game, my notes were, fuck, is Cobbo going to be in the centres because Mariner's on the wing? It ends up being completely different. Cobbo's on the wing this week. Shibasaki's beaten out Mariner. So we'll get to that in a bit. There was hype around this young kid. Lukey knows a little bit more about it. LATRELL Siegwald. So Lukey does some work for the boys.
Koori Knockout
podcast. And he has been just killing the Koori Knockouts in the last couple of years. He looked good as a backup fullback after Hayes Perrin went out. Unfortunately, he's injured himself this week, so he will be missing some time. As for the Titans, Foz started at half and then moved into the middle. So that sort of confirms what the rumours have been like, and it looks like it's going to be Keanu Kinney at fullback, Brimo at 6 and Jaden Campbell at 7, with Foz on the bench potentially.
I don't like that.
If Desi's trying to get some minutes through the middle with him.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think Fozzie should be running that ship, and Campbell at 6 and Brimo at 14. That's how it is. That's how it looks. To me, that's your best spine.
Do you think, obviously, Foz, we'll ask Foz in a couple of weeks and just get it straight from Foz when we get the opportunity to talk to him. Do you think it's almost a bit of a trial for these 3 long term, because Desi's got such a good relationship with Foz? Maybe he's going, mate, start in the 14 jersey. If it's not looking good after about 3 or 4 weeks, we'll put you back to 7. It could be something like that.
Yeah, I just don't think he's got the time to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you lose, 3 or 4 out of 5, fuck, your season's nearly over.
Yeah.
They haven't got the team there that
they started
come back.
Poorly last year, remember?
The year before they started unreal, so they need to find a really good balance straight away.
Yeah.
You know, the first 5 or 6 games, win over 3 of them. You know, and then you've held yourself in good stead. But you can't fuck around with Foz. Just put him at 7. Why can't Brimo just play 14?
That's tough.
It's tough, man.
It's not as easy.
No,
as you sort of
but
make
like
it out
he
as well.
just
He's a
is
top-tier
Brimo
player.
is Brimo at his peak now?
I reckon Brimo's best position's fullback. I don't know if he has the tempo for 6.
I think so as well. I just don't want him to play 6 because he's a runner, and the outside backs won't get anything, and it won't be any ball playing or anything like that. I think he's a genuine fullback. I love him as fullback.
Even the try assist when he put it in for feet, it looked like he hit that off his shin and it was going to bounce down.
It looks awkward.
It just doesn't look natural.
He's a natural ball runner.
Yeah.
And I just think what happened with injuries and Keanu Kinney just coming out of nowhere and absolutely killing it has put Brimo in a predicament where he could be 14 or move him into the halves or something like that, where I just would be a waste of talent. I need him back 5.
All right, we'll give it a month. I reckon Des is going to give it a month potentially. We'll see. We'll chat to Foz in a couple of weeks, which is going to be cool. Bulldogs 20 defeat the Tigers 14. You were telling me last week about Jack Todd as well, about a player of potential. Kyle Robbins wrote this in. Mate says, a Dogs fan, I was really encouraged by the performance of our young blokes. Talks about the performance of some of the young middles. My question is, from your perspective, who is the pick of our next generation of forwards that are coming through? Todd, Underhill, or Hopway? Which one do you like the most out of those 3?
Todd. Yeah, he's been on the. He broke his arm twice, and I think that was when he was going to get his call up to play first grade. So he's missed out on his debut. But he's like 6'3" or 4", about 100 and probably 8-9 kilos. Fast, mobile, big minutes.
Mobile.
Hits good. You saw that try that he set up.
Yeah, first touch.
Bang, straight off the left. Like he just ran an in-out line, then stepped back, left to right pass, hit Jeffro for the try. Like he's got skills. Plays big minutes too. He'd be like genuine, sort of like an Isaiah Yeo if he wanted to. Because he's got that sort of build. He's big, strong, mobile. Can play both sides of the ruck, left and right back row, and in the middle. So he's versatile.
Got good competition for spots.
Yeah, man.
In
He's
the forward
good.
pack now.
Yeah,
they went from being an undermanned, undersized team, and now they've made a couple of smart moves, and there's even more coming. And now they starts looking like, all right,
you've got a
what's the makeup of the team going to be like? And if you don't pull your weight, then you're out. Someone else is coming in. For the Tigers, I thought Solomon Fatape was really good, obviously. A couple of nice tries there. I feel like he needs to take the next step for the Tigers. It's a position in need. I know they've got Justin Olam, Brent Naden, and a couple of vets, but there's a player in Fatape.
Yeah.
I think there's a player in that.
Shaw's like just bunches of tries sometimes, doesn't he? Like scored 3 easy ones.
Little nugget, like close to the line. He's got a bit of a Matty Timokor about him.
Yeah, aggressive.
So I think he's a player that the Tigers would love to see progress. And I just want to really, out of this game, Galvin was sort of just floating about and doing a whole lot. But until we've seen Buller, Galvin and Luai together, which we're not going to see in Appy, who's suspended, I think, for the first game. It's just a wait and see.
I'm scared for the Tigers at the start of the year. No Luai or Appy.
So I think Luai's going to be okay in Buller. But no Appy because Appy's suspended.
Appy's a key, man.
Yeah. So Luai, I think Luai's trending, but maybe Benji doesn't want to risk him.
But just missing the reps at training. It's not like he's coming back into the Penrith system.
He has been training. No, he's been training, mate. But I think they're holding. I've seen a couple of clips of him been doing ball work with.
Like he's not missing reps or anything like that?
No contact and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's better. I thought he was just sitting on the sidelines.
No, Buller's had an appendix. I think he had his appendix taken out a couple of weeks ago, which is. So the story is, this is a reason why I love Buller. I'm really high on Buller.
Yeah,
I think he can be a great player if the Tigers do anything this year. He did army camp, didn't tell anyone. He's like, I've got a sore stomach.
Stitch.
He's got a stitch, and he just thought it was like, it was fatigue. Ended up being his appendix nearly burst. And
fucking die.
Yeah, it's really dangerous. So that's, I love that. Like he completed I believe he completed the army camp, and then they had to look into him like, we need to get you to the hospital.
Yeah, wow.
So that's a
good I mean, it's dangerous as hell.
It's dangerous.
But it's a good, sign where they're heading.
He's tough.
But he's one of your young bulls who could easily have dropped out, and he didn't. It's a good sign.
Yep. Dragons 26 defeat the Roosters 8. Bit of back and forth to begin with. I thought Gutho, Val and Cookie all had solid first hit outs. Dragons are one of those kits as well. I like the kit with the Dragons. Anyone who sort of goes to the Dragons looks pretty cool, like it's natural.
Yeah, it's red and whites.
Yeah, it's simplistic, the red V. Just seeing them in those
looks
kits.
Cool, eh?
Yeah, Val looks sick. Val looks good in any kit. Like he's a good-looking cat. Gutho and Cookie, they're all fit as hell
they
too.
Look good, eh? They look big and strong.
Yeah.
They had a sneaky good year last year. They've
people writing them off again.
Flano loves that, man. He's one of those siege mentality coaches. He'll fucking bunker up.
I reckon Kyle Flano is one of the most improved players in the comp.
If he can live up to his potential, he's always had potential. It's just about executing it on the field. This is like his 5th year in the game. 5th or 6th year.
It's more, mate.
Maybe more, but it might take him a while to mature a little bit.
Cronulla first year, then he gets a good deal to go to the Roosters for a couple of years. And then he went to the Bulldogs for 2 or 3.
What year did he debut, Lukey?
I would let me guess before you get it up, Lukey.
18.
So when did Flano get moved on from the Sharks? The
player?
coach,
Kyle
Kyle
Flanagan.
Flanagan. Wait, hold, don't say it. So Kyle,
2019.
16. I would say, I reckon 18, mate. One game in 18.
Okay, all right.
Here we go.
Round 24 of the 2018 season.
Yeah,
Boom.
So what, 9?
So 19.
6 years.
And then obviously Flano got moved on. So then he got picked up by the Roosters. Didn't go well there.
So I'm not counting anything until he got to the Dogs. Those years before, he wasn't playing consistent first grade.
Roosters gave him a good crack to begin with for a little bit.
About 10 games, yeah.
And then
the
he
Dogs
fell out
for
of
3
favour.
years. So I reckon he's in his 4th or 5th proper year.
Yeah.
And this is when the maturation starts to come in, starts knowing the game a little bit more, his kicks, the timing, the tempo. And this is what you're seeing.
Toby Couchman, think he's in for a breakout season for him through the middle with a number of things going on with their middles at the moment and who's coming in and who's leaving. For the Roosters, it's a huge job for Robbo in 2025, but there's nothing really to critique because we had no Teddy, we had no Collins, we had no Radley, we had no Crichton, we had no Connor Watson. So we'll see the best of the Roosters this week and we'll break down more of the games this week a little bit more in detail, but let's get to the YouTube replies for this week. And we're going to start with the Dogs versus Parra rivalry. And this one comes from Carl Redfern. Laugh out loud. I love this Levels Parra Dogs rivalry. Parra fan here, but I have a soft spot for the Dogs. And I look forward to our games every season. Honestly, think both clubs will be dominating the competition in coming years. Fingers crossed, we'll be seeing a Parra versus Dogs grand final before the end of the decade. Ooh. That could be the biggest grand final in a long time.
Yeah.
In terms of fan bases, if Parra and Dogs made the grand final.
Even if when we were getting a prelim or something like that, there's like 70,000.
The prelim,
70 or
09.
80, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, it was massive. So, yeah, I think Sydney's been screaming at that since the 80s. Since the 80s.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened. So, when it does happen, that'll be packed out, Homebush.
Ooh.
Because the NRL's going good when both Parra and Bulldogs are going good.
Yeah,
out
agreed.
west, and South and a few other teams like that. But it's very important.
Parra and Bulldogs, or at least Parra and Bulldogs. You need
one of them.
Broncos, and you need one of South, or the Roosters going well as well, because they're obviously strong clubs. This one is around the social media and the engagement with teams. And this one comes from Chasing Clout. L1 from day one, boys. This one goes out to Big Willie talking about the social media engagement. One form of content I really enjoyed watching was the mic'd up video. We get this all the time over the years, and Willie was one of the best. I think you were the OG as well, Mace. How did they ask you to do it, and was it something the coaches, Wayne, had to tick off approval for? And also, did it make you chat more or even act different to be funny, or was that you just naturally? I will answer that last bit. That is 100% who he is on the games, my time with playing with him and playing against him. So that was all just Mace. But the first question...
they get it.
Yeah, how was Wayne during that? And then did they have to obviously go to Wayne? And also, this is a question that I want to know.
Yeah.
How much could they take out of it? And did you have to get final say on how much they were able to show because tactically or anything like that?
Well, I knew... If I, just say if he said something outrageous, right, they're never going to put it in.
Yeah.
Like the swearing and stuff like that, which I do swear a lot, especially on the field, where they cut a lot of that out, where I was like in people's faces saying some real fucking crazy shit. Because I think Josh Dugan knocked out BJ real early.
Okay.
And there's a couple of fights and everything in there. It was a pretty rough game. I think it was the last game of the year. So it was always a big game. And I was into Dugan massively.
Quickly, did the Dragons know you were mic'd up? No, they wouldn't have.
No, and I even forgot that I was mic'd up most of the time. So I had to that was me probably at a 4 out of 10, considering and that's me at 34.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine?
Sorry. Have I bumped it?
No.
Okay, sorry, mate. Keep going.
And that's me at 34.
Yeah.
I'm calmed down. Imagine 10 years before that. It was fucking mayhem. So Wayne was cool with it because I was at an age where, he trusts me and everything like that.
Yep.
But they were asking me for a Wild Fox and I was just like, no, I can't. It's just not it's not me, because I think they had Finchy and a few other players do it, and it was
okay.
It was
I thought
all right.
You were the first one.
No, it was one of the. It was in that first year,
First year.
but I think it was the one that probably went a little bit viral.
Yeah.
This game, I think it was September 2014. It was your last game.
Yeah, it was the last game for Newcastle. Yeah.
So I think that probably adds into it too. You mustn't have been playing finals that particular year.
No, we missed out on the finals.
It's a game that they can sort of experiment on.
Yes, yeah. So it was a lot of factors like that, and Wayne was like, I didn't even think he cared. To be honest, I don't think I had a conversation with him. I think it was the media manager said, yeah, and I went, yeah, no worries. It was fun. It was a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's
because
hilarious.
both teams were like, we had none of us were making the finals. I was like,
okay.
where are we going for Mad Monday? You guys. It was pretty funny, man.
Somewhere is the offcuts of that.
Yeah, the offcuts would be.
That's it.
The offcuts
Off
sitting on some floor would be fucking hilarious.
You know who I might be able to speak to about it? My man Brooksy, who works at SEN, he would have been working for Fox during those years. He would know. He would have been a big part of like all that sort of
There's
stuff.
a dark hard drive somewhere.
Yeah, because I didn't get final say on it, and when I watched it, I was like, oh, thank goodness they didn't put that in. There's a lot of beeping and everything like that, but like a lot of the other stuff was pretty intense. So after the fight, because it was a brutal game. Dugan and Gags were punching on BJ, like it was just crazy because Dukes I think knocked BJ clean out, like
that
off
was
the
that
scrum,
game.
and I was like.
remember that.
We lose him. I was just like, we lose him. He needs to go.
I remember that.
I said, I'm going to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
And then Gags got in. Yeah, it was pretty good. It's a good game.
Sick.
Yeah, it was
That's right.
You got to fire the game up when you've got nothing to play for.
The best modern one is Paddy Carrigan. Though.
Paddy Carrigan's good.
That's
Yeah.
unreal. Different context. You were having fun. He
Yeah.
was, that was
He's
Yeah,
so
it'll probably be a
locked in.
different, whole different. Not really. If it was a bigger game, it
No.
doesn't matter for me.
That's who
It's
you
just
are.
Like, that's sort of who I am. It's like, it's just, the game is fun to me. It was always fun.
One of my favourite mates, and this is like just again going back to the last question about who he is. I remember my favourite story for you is we're playing against Leeds and you ran into, I seen him too, Big Keithy.
Big Keithy.
I seen him the other day. Mace takes a hit up off the kickoff, the first kickoff of the game, straight into Keithy. Unfortunately, Keithy gets his head in the wrong position, lays him out. Anyway, about 5 minutes later, Mace comes hobbling off, and as he's hobbling off, he goes, "Boys, calf's done, but I took Big Keithy with me." Kept on showing off. And I was playing.
Just shuffled off.
I was playing right centre outside of Gifty, and Gifty just looks at me and I just go, fuck. Mate, honestly, you were like that in every single game, and I can attest to that. Playing
it's
against
just-
you and playing with you multiple times.
I think the game was fun. I played it since I was young, and every time I was playing from under sixes to first grade to Australia, New South Wales, it was always a fun element. I'm not going to ever take that away. You know, some people just deal with it differently.
Yeah.
Some are psychos. You know, like your Marco Mealy's in that. He's a different cat.
You got to lock in. Some people want to
Person
lock
who
in.
puts Danker rub in his face before a game is a different unit, right? So you got to deal with that. So different characters, different personalities. So it makes the game great.
Yeah. Well said. All right, let's get to the All-Stars replies, and this one comes from Tayan Atere. I'm all over the shop with that one. It's a very hard one to pronounce when it's all jumbled together. I really hope they're not scrapping the All-Stars games. I'm not even Māori or Indigenous, but it's one of the most passionately played games on the calendar. It'd be a huge disservice to get rid of it. And then 8786 jumps in and goes, I got the most out of seeing Ponga in there doing the haka. There was also a dinner where both the men and women sang a song before the game and did the haka. Ponga's passion was mad. So that's coming from a very passionate Māori, it seems like. And it's been in the news still because Ricky Stuart and Adam Blair have been going at it. Adam Blair
Pick your battles, Blairy.
had a bit of a crack at Ricky after the game. So here is the story before we get to the YouTube questions, which correlates with what we're talking about right now. So Canberra coach Ricky Stuart has hit back at ridiculous accusations from Māori All-Stars mentor Adam Blair that he pressured the Raiders players into missing last weekend's preseason game due to injury. After leading the Māori All-Stars to a 10-6 victory over the Indigenous team in Sydney on Saturday evening, Blair called for the NRL to police player availability for the annual contest, name-checking the Raiders as a culprit. So the former New Zealand representative declared that Canberra prop Joe Tarpanay would have been selected for the All-Stars clash. Obviously, he's been the skipper for the last couple of years as well, sparking debate about the event scheduling. The more they hold everyone accountable, this is from Blairy, then it becomes easier for the clubs to go, well, then the game says you got to play unless you're injured. You go and play, Blair said. There's so many talented players that could have been here due to pressures. For example, I love our Canberra boys, and we could have taken 5 or 6 of the boys from their squad. But I get it. Yeah. Those are 5 of Canberra's best players. In response, Stuart has slammed Blair for questioning the Raiders' support for the All-Stars contest, rejecting that he encouraged players to miss the match. The 50-year-old instead claimed the Raiders, who will soon fly to Vegas, which is one of the teams we talked about, Mace, for their NRL season opener, had not been contacted by the Māori camp about any of the Canberra players. It was ridiculous. It was a childish comment. It comes from a very inexperienced coach. He's obviously coaching the way he used to play, very selfishly, Stuart said. This club still has not got an email asking for any of the boys to play in the Māori football team. Blair has really tarnished our relationship with that game. The game is played at the wrong end of the season for a start.
Ooh, don't get him started.
So there we go. So there's a hint that Sticky's not all...
No.
You know, even though Sticky's replying, there's a hint that he's probably not all stoked with players leaving for the game. I'm probably the only courageous one who will actually say that. I enjoy the game. I like watching the game, but it's played at the wrong time of the season. For Blair to come out and say that when he didn't even communicate with this club is wrong. It comes from an inexperienced person who is trying to coach. Mace, a lot to unpack there. I do think before you start, mate, that I do find those comments from Sticks at the back end pretty...
Sticks, ruthless, mate. You don't go at Sticky.
You got to be ready to get...
You got to be ready. And I think Blair, if he had his time again, probably would have rung Ricky Stuart and asked what happened. Why were the players available or anything like that?
That's fair.
Is there something heinous going on behind the scenes that I don't know? And then make your comments. You know, like he clearly come out, Sticky said he didn't get an email. He's got all the receipts and everything like that, saying that no one asked any of their boys to play.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Joey Tarpanay. If he wants to play, he would have played.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he would have played. Timoko would have played. I think a lot of guys would have played. I think it's just up to the player now. The coaches do not have a say in anything. 10, 20 years ago, they would have. 20 years ago, I reckon they would have went, don't go play for, because Tonga and Samoa weren't big dogs like now, or miss out on the World Cup, come back earlier for the preseason and train. All that sort of shit, coaches were doing that. I think they
can suggest.
They can,
I think
but I'm just saying it's not as crazy as it used to be.
Yeah.
Then they know that the coaches, where you step back, especially when it comes to the culture,
Yeah.
They do not step in.
I think this game's really grown, which is look, we're always trying to look for compromise and silver lining. I think it suggests that this game's really grown now and it's become very popular. And I think there would for sure be suggestion, and without having emails and some of the replies that Ricky's saying, there might have been a suggestion.
I can see why Blairy would think that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm more going just quickly from Ricky's side, where it's like, I'm not going to tell you not to play, boys. Yeah, but we've got a pretty important game coming up in a couple of weeks. Of
course.
Without going, you'd be silly, Joe, do not play.
You'd be silly not to think that there'd be external pressure from the club. I'll just put it like that.
Yeah. Like just external pressure is not the word, I don't think, either. It's just like
internal pressure. Fuck, whatever.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Yeah, internal pressure from the club. Like it's just like when you got an injury, right?
Yeah.
When are you back? When are you back? From fucking doctors, physios, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm back when I'm back.
We're all applauding Kalen for this year, but he equally made himself unavailable the previous year for the game when obviously he was coming back from injury, but it's a situation where it's come to the player. He could have gone and played and risked it for Adam O'Brien, but he chose to not play.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's the player. It is the player.
The difference with this is it's a Vegas team.
Yeah.
And it is every player from that team that hasn't played. So the Kalen Ponga example was different because even though Kalen didn't play, I believe Gags played last year.
Yeah, he did.
I believe Dylan Lucas might have played last year. So they had representation from a couple of players from the club. Where this looks like it's across the board, which therefore, if you were to guess, you would say it's not an individual decision. It's more the club is suggested, hey, we've got a big game coming up in a couple of weeks.
I think that the coaches need to be a bit more aware. The 4 Vegas teams that are going, their star players aren't playing. Come on, you got to understand that. They can if they want, but if not, they're obviously choosing club football and a Vegas trip over that. That's what's
totally
happening. That is totally understandable. And I think the coaches need to understand that. You're going to have some big players. It sucks that Joseph Tarpanay wasn't playing because he's such a proud Māori man. And it sucks that Timoko and all these other brothers weren't playing. But
Xavier Savage, I believe, could play.
This is what happens when there's so many fucking games on, right? There's Vegas, there's Indigenous rounds. It's all jambled up. Trial games, like they need to really fix this up if they've got problems like this.
I disagree with Sticky and a lot of people were messaging about this, and this is
I think it's in the right place.
I think it's in the right place. You don't do it at the end of the year. People don't want to play footy at the end of the year. For a trial game, and even though it's an All-Stars game, don't get it twisted. We play 15, 20-minute stints. It's not the intensity of an NRL game. So therefore, it's more about being in camp and representing your people.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think it's at the perfect point of the year.
Yes.
I would not move. If it ends up moving the end of the year, you're going to lose more players.
Yeah.
There's going to be
100%.
more star players that decline the game. It's at the right time of the year. It's at a first. It happened on the weekend when, let's be honest, like they're trying to boost up this preseason challenge. It was shitty games across the board. Like it is what it is. Like there were stars missing from every team. So the clubs aren't missing out on a whole heap, and their star players are playing 30, 40 minutes in a game where, there's risk of injury, but also like because the stints are shorter, and if there's any knock, if there's any hint of being, all right, fatigue, they get them straight off, mate. Like it's played at the right time.
It is played at the right time.
And I fully understand, even though I'm not putting words into, or suggesting that Ricky did do this, but if he did, I'd understand. And then equally, I understand the Warriors side of, a senior player like Fish and Chance Nickel-Klokstad said this throughout the week.
How do you reckon that conversation went with Webby compared to Ricky Stuart?
Yeah, I think. Did we talk about this in the last episode? Was it off air?
No, it was off air. I think.
Was it? Yeah.
Ricky Stuart going Ricky Stuart with the Indigenous game and the Māori game.
Tarpany.
And if you got like Fish going to Andrew Webster about the same thing.
Yeah.
And Nickel-Klokstad.
So me and Mace joked around.
I think it's a different conversation there.
Me and Mace joked around that Webby was like, hey mate, I heard Stickies, the Raiders aren't going to be playing. I think we should, we won't have representation as well. And then Fish just goes, nah, bro. We're playing.
Nah, we're playing.
But yeah, I understand the Fish side as well, because there's a lot of comments about that where Fish went to Webby and goes, look, this is important for our culture. This is important to me, and fully understand and appreciate Webby going, okay, all right, senior players come up to me. It's important to them. Because there's a part of me that thinks, taking it away from the players as well, like if Ricky and the Canberra Raiders suggested it to the players, Joseph Tarpany, and sticks right in this sense, has been a great representation of this game. 4 years in a row, captain for a couple of years, put this game before club to begin the season, but he's 2 weeks out from Vegas. And they've lost so much experience in this team in the last 2 years.
And this is where...
And he's the club captain now.
Yeah, and this is where Blair should have some awareness about all this kind of stuff. What Tarpany has done for that game and what situation he's in right now.
Yeah.
And what position Canberra's been in for the last couple of years, not making the 8. And, Big Papa's last year, Tarpany, they've lost so much experience. Like, all these things you need to be aware of before you fucking have a crack at Ricky Stuart. Because he's going to fucking come at you and he'll be having a crack at Adam Blair in 20 years over this.
Yeah.
He fucking holds grudges, and he's right, and he's got so much power in the media, but don't question him like that, because if you got no hardcore facts, you're a sitting duck with him.
What if he did? Who knows how the media works.
He said he didn't.
Yeah, given this, hey, can you be our voice? Like, that couldn't be a...
Pardon?
Like, people get slid facts and go, hey, can you put this out there? Or he's heard something and said it. Even though Ricky's saying there's no emails.
So I know what you're saying there.
But
so
still,
what he's alluding to is that, like, Blair is found out that for sure the players were told.
And Ricky's gone, is there any facts, mate?
There's not.
Shut up.
Because there's no one willing in between who's caught in between.
And the power that Ricky has in the media and who he is, and like, you need hardcore facts from the player, right? And I just think I don't think the player. I honestly believe if Joey Tarpany wanted to play, he's playing.
Agreed.
And if anyone else wanted to play, they're playing, because it's a player run game now.
You know what's
coaches can influence it a little bit, but at the end of the day,
here's a compromise for you, Mace. And like now in hindsight, looking back at this situation, if Blair had called up, because I fully understand Sticky not wanting, especially 2 weeks out, Joseph Tarpany in particular to be playing there, because he's the club captain. No. So it might be like, hey, you can't have our vet, our most important, our club captain just before this. A couple of younger players that are on the fringe, like Xavier Savage has only played a couple of years of first grade. Maybe you release him. Sebastian Chris, he's been in and out of first. Maybe there's a couple of players that they could have come up with a compromise that are younger, that are still important to the team, don't get me wrong.
I 100%
But
agree.
they haven't played 200 games, isn't the club captain. So, look, I'm not going to give you Joseph Tarpany, but you can take a couple of the younger guys that haven't played 50 games yet. Maybe that could have conversation.
I've been happy with, like, if I got Fish, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Fish or Tarpany, I'm happy with one of them.
Yeah.
You got Fish. Do you know what I mean? Like, just be happy with
Leo
that.
Thompson,
they had
Roy Sun,
fucking great, a great team. And like, you know, it would suck that Joey wasn't out there, but there's bigger fish to fry, I suppose. You know, you got to play. You got to. He knows who butters his bread, right? It's Canberra.
It's a good little back and forth. It wouldn't have been on my bingo card, Adam Blair versus Ricky Stuart to start off the 2025 season.
Ricky's fucking.
But here we
I
are.
bet Blair is just like, God, I shouldn't have said that. Fuck.
Nah, Blair is...
He's all right. I can understand from Blair's point of view as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of rumours going out, and I understand what's going on with coaches, and I know that, you know, if you're the club coach, where's your responsibilities? Fucking clubland.
Yeah.
Right? And so I understand from where Blair is coming from, but I'm like,
and also
I wouldn't have went at that. I wouldn't have went at Ricky like that publicly. I would have rang Stick and went, mate, blah blah blah. I might say this, is it true? Sticky goes no, and then you fucking leave it, run away.
And also Blairy's playing at, so Blairy is assistant coach at Newcastle, and they released Dylan Lucas, Gags, and Callan to play in the game too. So there's like that factor as well. Which
You have to be a fucking genius. You can put it together if you want.
All right, let's get to the YouTube questions. We're going to stay on fish. Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
I like that one too, Mace. This one comes from Josh Katatiana. Hey, boys, that one since day one. Kiwi here, Christchurch, New Zealand. The triple OG Willie Mason was not my favourite player in 2010. Fast forward to 25, he's in my top 5 and he's not even playing. So much knowledge and straight up, you too, Scope, have followed your career, Kiwis forever. Just a quick question. Do you think the Australian media, excluding levels, etc., are underestimating the importance of culture to our players? For example, James Fisher-Harris means so much more to the Warriors than just on field. That, in my opinion, it can't actually be measured. And I wrote down just the Fish is almost, you know, for this club, he's ticked every box that you want. He's a winner. He's still got plenty of good footy left in him. And then obviously the culture side, you can't replicate that. I'd say arguably this is the biggest signing for the club than maybe Bully back in the day, Isaac Blue. Ruben Wickie's another
That's
good
the
one.
Best. He's the best signing since Ruben Wiki, because what Ruben Wiki bought off the field and on the field, the training and everything like that, the mana that he brings, and it's just like, that's what Fish brings. It's more important. And back to the culture thing, I think the game has come a long way buying into the culture. Just have a look at the Indigenous game and the Māori game. You have a look at the Tonga game, Samoa, New Zealand, you know, where they're really buying into it. You know, the coaches are, and I think and it's because of the players are driving it.
Yep.
And because of the game is 50% Polynesian as well and Indigenous. So if you don't buy in as a coach, you're not coaching.
Yeah, for sure. And when you have guys like Fish who sort of, you know, shout out to Webby too.
Yeah, man.
Like, and going, you know, sort of circling back. Webby was an assistant coach in New Zealand for a while. I think that's why he was so successful to begin with in the first year, because he understood the culture straight away and how much it means to him. That's a really important part. I think Australian media for sure neglect New Zealand and the Warriors in a way, because it's
the
just
mainstream
natural.
media.
I think it's just fished out of. It's the same as. I don't think it's a thing at Australia versus New Zealand. I think Canberra get less media than Sydney clubs. I think North Queensland don't really get much recognition as well. So it's just an out of sight, out of mind, and you haven't been as consistently good as teams like Melbourne Storm, who have always been, you know, powerhouses in the game. So
but the culture is important.
The culture
it is so important. I think, and I said, Australian media's come a long way. Coaches, staff, the CEOs, everything, everybody's come a long way, because they know how important family is to the Polynesian and the culture.
Yep. Also a reply from last week as well. This one comes from Simon Roth. This is a good shout. In regards to the captaincy at the Warriors, I think the Roger or Capewell are good shouts for the captaincy if the co-captains are not on the field. However, I think having a captain on the field at all times is important now more than ever because of the captain's challenge. So he was sort of...
Do you reckon?
He was sort of saying... Yes and no. I think captaincy is probably as important as it's been because of the captain challenges. But I also think there are some big names at other clubs that I don't think they are good captains. They're just the best players in the team.
You just get given it.
So when it comes to decision-making for captain's challenge, I know there's got to be some quick ones that happen on the field. I think a lot of the time... if there is enough time for big decisions, a lot of that sort of gets relayed from the coaching staff as well, with trainers running on as well.
It gets picked up quick if it's a big decision.
I reckon Capewell's a good shout. He's got a very good temperament. He's been around for a while. He plays 80 minutes. So I reckon Capewell would be a good shout. Wade Egan let him out on the weekend. So he's another guy that we tossed up that he's potentially not on the field for 80 minutes.
I think, and then Rogers is good too.
Yeah.
Rogers sees everything from the wing there.
Rogers on the wing now, though.
Yeah, I know, but you see a lot from that angle.
Yeah.
You're probably always looking at the big screen anyway.
Well, what about if you're on the
everything.
left-hand side and the penalty's on the right-hand
I know.
side? There are a couple of times when Crichton come over, running over from the right or left side. He ran over and was asking questions last year to Burton.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what did you see? Like, what? Yeah,
It's just communication, isn't it?
And Matty Burton's going, oh, this happened or whatever. Or the opposite side, yeah. So he was on the right.
Yeah.
And he come running over going, like, is this a challenge? It's a challenge. Like, I heard him in the audio. So I think Roger's too far away.
Too far away?
I'd go Capewell or Egan, whatever it may be.
I like Egan if he's busting
If
out
those
80.
two players are off, yeah.
See, Capewell plays 80 minutes.
Let's get to the Rabbitohs, and they had some devastating news as we were filming that episode yesterday. So not only Cam Murray, who has ruptured his Achilles, Latrell Mitchell also tweaked his hamstring in the same session. The Rabbitohs have just copped a catastrophic injury to captain Cam Murray and a setback for Latrell Mitchell in one training session. Rabbitohs captain Cam Murray has suspected ruptured Achilles tendon. He will get scans. And Rabbitohs fullback Latrell Mitchell has also been ruled out as Charity Shield game, which was he was named for originally. He will get scans to determine the extent of the injury. This is devastating for not only Cam Murray and Latrell to a lesser degree, because we're going to see Latrell at some point, hopefully at the start of the year. But Cam Murray, the Rabbitohs, New South Wales,
Australia,
Laurie Daly, who's doing the content with us, Australia. And it's just a blow for the game. Cam Murray is one of the more...
likeable, best players. Like, he's a gun. And I just feel so sorry for him when I heard that news yesterday. You could see how much... Like, I know Cam Murray a little bit, you know, and I'm just devastated for him. You know, if that was another player, I'd be devastated, but probably on a different level. Yeah. You know, like, you feel like he's such a likeable kid and a great player for all three levels. And I just think there's always a silver lining, right? And I think he's played a lot of football in the last 5 or 6 years at the top. Big Origin campaigns, big runs into the semis. Last couple of years have been off a little bit south, but he doesn't miss that many games. He plays big minutes. Sometimes your body just goes, bang, I need a fucking break. And just say he has a year off in the game. Sometimes they can prolong your career at the end. So if he misses the whole 2025, all he does is rehab, work on his other knee, work on all other injuries like his shoulders, his hands, everything like that.
Can you check at the hand injury that he had at the back end?
Little things like that. You can fix everything like that and then concentrate on his Achilles and his rehab, come back next year and start fresh. You miss a whole year of getting fucking hit. It's the contact. It's everything like that he's not a big man. He's giving away 10, 20 kilos in the middle. Yeah, that's fair. He does not fucking shirk it at all. He's in there. Way. He's in there. He plays massive. He's getting the ball 25 times a game. He's tipping on. He's digging into the line. He's getting hit late. He does all those things that you just love to play with. And sometimes when I look at that, I can only think, I think I played 5 years and then a Liz Frank out for most year and then another 5 years. And then an ACL, and then got another 5 years in. So
you reckon it helped your longevity by having those little breaks in between? Yeah. That's a silver lining for him.
Just a long time off, not getting hit. When it's some major injuries like that, like when it's Achilles, Liz Franks, and ACLs where you're just blown out and you're not doing contact for 6 months.
Yeah. I can't find the specific injury. It wasn't an impact injury. Cheese was talking about it on the buy round a couple of weeks back. Yep. Cheese did a bone in that spot on his wrist.
Yep.
And he's got a tendon. Yes, that's the word.
Scaphoid,
It's the least blood flow place in the body. So it takes
this
really
one.
long
It's this
to
one
injure.
here. So if you break that, you usually get a hip. They take the bone from the hip and put it in there.
So is that a wear and tear injury?
No, that's very unlucky. That's unlucky. That can happen anywhere. Scaphoid's probably one of the worst wrist injuries.
Can you do that doing weights or stuff like that? How has he done it? Did he
it would be like just getting jammed up here. It's that bone there.
His words was, it wasn't impacting or anything like that. I just tackled someone who's going sideways. I swung him around a bit and it felt a bit of a flick in my wrist. Yeah, it got gradually sorer during the training session.
And that's Cam Murray?
That's Cam Murray.
Yeah, okay. It's just like you get...
He lives locally too, by the way, and this is a great point which you bring up about the silver lining. So I see him a fair bit. We run into each other at the cafe. I've been talking to him about the injury and he had the brace on his hand. And I was like, what's the date for you getting back? You're going to be right for round one. He goes, they're thinking like April, May, but
he'll push it for round one.
But he goes, I'll be right for round one. And I was like, that's like a fucking 6 weeks early.
Yeah, that's what
he started. And you're right. Going back to your point, he's too tough for his own good. He would have been pushing it. He would have been probably still having some issues with this for sure. So it gives him the opportunity to just
get his body right
get
now.
His body right.
Get his body and his mind right. Get away from the game for a little bit.
You don't want to hear that in the
no,
moment.
Yeah, no, not now. You can't tell him that. I mean, like hear this in about 4 weeks, you know, and he'll probably he's a forward thinker. He's an intelligent man. He'll be thinking, you know, at least I get the rest of my body a chance to heal, and I come back bigger and stronger. What is he, 27 years old?
He would have been pumped for this season with Wayne after all the shit they've been through.
100%. But, you know, he's got another 3 or 4 years there. Still at his peak, you know, and I think, you know, an injury like that can, if you're a winger, it can really hamper your progression and your speed. But if you're in the middle like Cam, he's still got great footwork, and with all the modern day medicine and everything like that, the Achilles, you can come back nearly at 100%. And even if he's not at 100%, and 95%, Cam Murray is still better than fucking 90% of people. Yeah. And he's got footwork. He'll probably miss a little bit of that, but the rehab will be on point, and he'll come back.
I hope for also, we haven't even mentioned LATRELL. Normally this would have been huge news. Missed the start of the season. Remember, he was going to miss round 1 anyway with suspension. So hopefully we see LATRELL back by round 2, and it's not an extended amount of time out from LATRELL. Because
when they say tweak, that's very broad, isn't it?
He was
seen
looking.
You for scans.
I seen him at the All-Stars game. Had a little embrace with him. Mickey Mouse. He was in such good nick as well. So yeah.
That's all right.
I got that Tyrone Munro. Hurts my Tyrone Munro bet.
What about our top 8 picks now?
I know. Yeah, we've got to change our pick.
Change it. I want
no
Manly.
Cam Murray.
I want Manly in South.
Okay, so let's have a look. I'll quickly go back to it. So where we both had.
We both had South.
The year hasn't started too, so we can do this.
Oh, we can do it.
We can do it. So I don't have Rabbitohs in my top 8 too. That's how huge news is. That's how much of I think of Cam Murray.
Yeah, same.
Because you can't replace Cookie moves on. He's 40 tackles a game. Cam Murray's that's 80 tackles a game that you've got to somehow replicate, and they've got some young players.
400 games.
Let's have a look next week after we get through the trials.
Do you want me to bring it up? You guys keep going. I've got
it here. So I've got Storm Panthers. You've got Rabbitohs at 7th, and I had them at 5th. So we'll look next week and we'll see, and we'll reassess where we are with our top 8.
Can I add something for next week's show? You might know a little bit about this. Gus was talking about it. There's a statistic based on the amount of NRL games in an NRL team that directly correlates with how it sounds when you say it like that. It sounds obvious, but like if you haven't cracked 2,000 games in your roster.
That's interesting. Where'd you hear that?
From 1 to 30.
Gus
from
was
1 to 30,
talking
your actual roster, yeah.
Yeah, there's if you count, because Gus is sitting there on his podcast going, hang on, how many games has Canberra got? Canberra have got the 1,700 games across their roster.
So he's like, the podcast that he did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a super interesting statistic.
Yeah.
He's got a man called the Analyst.
Well, South would be way down. Oh, no. They got some vets in there. Now they would.
There's a guy. I
got some rookies in there.
Flick Gus a text. Get the numbers for us, mate.
I don't know the name's escaping me, but there's a guy that Gus has used for a number of years. His nickname's the Analyst, and he comes in. He gives a lot of data for Gus and for all that sort of stuff. He's really big on analytics data.
Well, Gus created that analytics thing.
I think this guy's his guy.
Him and that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. 2003
or 4, and then the NRL just took it.
Yep.
You know, the analytics where you do the footy, how we used it, like in the it still goes on now. I don't know, NRL Analyzer they call it now.
Yeah.
But that's what Gus and the Analyzer created.
Yeah, well,
20-something years ago. So Gus was in there cutting when I was playing Origin 03 and 4 with him. He's in there cutting video like that and then putting it on a fucking VHS.
All right, let's get to the games. Team list round 3.
Didn't patent it, but. Come on, Gus, you're smarter than that.
The Sea Eagles versus Panthers, Friday, 6 p.m. That's at Leichhardt Oval. It's a double at Leichhardt. There you go. But the Sea Eagles will be without Turbo, Ches, Brooksy and Jakey. Kohler and Garrick gets first crack at the centres with Hopewadi on the wing. And watch out for Clayton Falalo. I like him as a player. He's been around. He's been toiling now there at Manly for a couple of years. Everyone keeps talking about, Kohler, Garrick, Hopewadi, Talau, and deservedly so, and even Jason Saab. I reckon if someone goes down and there's an opportunity and Falala gets a decent crack, I reckon he could be a player for him as well. Saab, I believe, and Talau are still injured at the moment, but I think Turbo, Ches, Brooksy and Jakey are all rested because Panthers are basically playing their New South Wales Cup team. Yeah. The first grade's
that sucks for Manly.
Over on to...
and you reckon they don't get a proper hit out?
Do you think Ches doesn't need it. Jakey doesn't need it.
Some do.
Turbo, I wouldn't even contemplate risking him. And I think Brooks is enough
they just come straight in,
yeah. They'll be sweet.
It's mainly the outside backs.
Yeah, and Panthers, obviously, their team would be off to Vegas now already. So the doubleheader will be with West Tigers versus Eels as the main card. It's at Leichhardt at 8 p.m. Still no Buller and Luai for the Tigers. Appy will miss the first round, I believe, through suspension. So Adam Dewey's getting a crack at halfback with Terrell May to debut. Alex Seyfarth looks like he's going to be that edge back role, like we predicted in the team predictions early on in the year. And he's also captaining the team after being extended as well.
Good.
So congrats to Alex Seyfarth. He's had a good 12 months of footy and Benji must love him there.
Yeah.
So Royce Hunt and Jack Bird will be off the bench, a couple of new recruits. As for the Eels, no Mitch Moses or Dylan Brown. Lomax will debut. Yongi keeps the 1 jersey. Jack Williams will play up front. And Jermaine Hopgood, we'll get to see him again for the first time in a long time for the Parramatta Eels.
What did he do last year? Something
injuries.
big.
Back injury?
Fuck, he started the year off great, didn't he?
Yeah. 2023 was good. Start of 2024 was good. Played Origin.
Yeah.
And then got injured. I think he played Origin 1.
Yeah,
then got
Moses is out, so
Moses
is not a big deal. I mean, like I was saying before, like he went from the third Origin to a test
without any
Do
footy.
you think that he can't go from a fucking test to round 1?
Yeah.
So I think he's such a vet.
Well. Big Jones is not playing in that game either.
Yeah, I don't think Jones needs that as well. He's played, well over 200 games. He knows how to get ready for round 1. So most of these vets, I love how coaches, they're not stressed about them.
Yeah.
You have confidence in them. They've trained well. Just get it done.
Junior looks incredible.
Junior looks mad.
At the moment.
Yeah, seen an interview with Jones. So reckons he's lost a bit of weight. Had to lose Frank last year and just realised that he needed to drop a little bit of weight, which is good. So that's dangerous signs and good signs for Parramatta.
Yeah.
Dangerous signs for the league. Good signs for Parramatta.
He's still young, June, isn't he? What's he, 31?
June's
Still
would be
peak.
Junior was in June.
31, 20 November 93.
Yeah, plenty of good football left in him.
He was training with us in the full-time squad. Got a taste of the full-time squad when I was there in 2012. So he's been around for
playing against him.
Then he went to Canberra for a bit, then back.
Had his stint at Canberra. Yep.
That's right. And then he come back.
He's a good human too.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
He is.
Yeah, he's as long as he's out there, that culture will be pretty sweet. And Moses and Brown. He's got to keep those guys.
Yeah, he's got a big couple of years left for Parramatta for sure. Dragons versus Rabbitohs. This would have been a cracking game before the injuries. It still will be good. This is the Charity Shield. Everyone loves this game. This is probably the game that everyone will be looking forward to over the weekend. It's at Saturday, 3 p.m. at Glen Willow Oval in Mudgee. I love when they take games to these country areas during the trials. The Dragons are the same strong side that went against the Roosters and were really good. Sloane is in the 18 jersey, so we might see Sloaney for the first time. And I talked about there being competitions for wing spots in this team. But I think it looks pretty settled, this team. I think...
why is he 18?
He missed some time. So he was supposed to play in the Indigenous game as well, but he's
a bit injured.
Must be carrying something.
Yeah, okay.
But all reports were he was having a really good preseason.
Fucking solid.
Put on a bit of size. Gutho said he's going to be that hybrid Lomax model where he'll play pop up all over the field.
Needs to be in the team.
As for South, they had Latrell. He's no longer there. Jack Whiten's back, though. Munro will be back in the back line. Sullivan gets first crack in the halves against his old team, the Dragons. Todd gets another crack, who was okay in the trial for South. Kalol Matangi, he's back in the back row. Tallis Duncan. There was no Cam Murray or Cody Walker in this game regardless before the injury, but Cam Murray obviously after the season. Hopefully Cody Walker
what's up with Cody?
Is back. There's been chat about him racing the clock to be ready for round 1. I think maybe an ankle injury or something like that. But yeah, he was always he was never going to play in this game, and he's been in doubt for
it's a
round
calf.
1. Calf.
Old man's injury.
Yeah, he's getting old.
Getting up there.
Old boy started late.
What are you, 35 now, Cody? Got to be.
Would be.
Still killing it too. He'd be up there with one of the best
35,
one of the best ball players. Like Grubby said, like one of the best ball players of our generation, I reckon.
I was chatting
something like Cliffy Lyons-esque.
I was chatting to a coach.
2.0,
yeah, I know. I'm with you. Yeah. I was chatting to a coach about him, and he reckons he is the hardest to defend against. When you have different patterns, because he can beat both the wedging and the back and the defence that sort of backs off a little bit. Because if he's got he's got everything in the repertoire, and he plays so late, it's very hard to predict what he's going to do.
You'd hate. That's why he makes wingers and centres just look so stupid. Like they're mostly in just no man's land. He's looking at feet, he's looking at hips, and
So
I was
good.
like, wow, to do that at a speed, because he plays at his own tempo, right? He's not flying into the line. His tempo's good.
Cliffy's the shower. He's the modern day
Cliff, yeah,
Cliffy.
he's the modern day Cliff.
Yeah.
And he's doing it without a left side back row.
Has been, yeah. Like it's
You
been
give
a
him
revolving
fucking
door.
genuine beaver or something like that. Give him a fucking Olakawatu. Jesus. Crichton.
They try to put Kaloa Matangi over there and try to help, and
It
it
doesn't
just
work on the
didn't-
left because he's a right arm carry with a right arm
Left
a
arm fend.
right fucking foot and left fend. It just doesn't work if you can't change hands.
Broncos versus the Bulldogs Saturday 5:30 p.m. at KO Stadium. This is a double header up at KO Stadium as well. Broncos
This is a
are
game.
stacked, and so are your dogs, mates. Walsh, Cobbo, Staggs, Hunt, Reynolds, Haas, and Carrigan all in. Shibasaki beats out Mariner for the centre spot. Mariner's
Wow,
in the
that's big
extended
news.
bench.
I don't know why.
Jacheski beats out Piakura
Shit.
for the left edge back row spot. Jordan Ricky's back on the right. And as it stands, Corey Pakes has won the battle for the 9 jersey with Billy Walters and Smoothie on the bench.
Is this a few mind games from Madge?
I don't know. I was
Just
just
putting people on like, hey, you're not that good.
the chat around Jacheski was he was having a great preseason and Madge has rewarded him. I think that's just the way it goes. Piakura, it's
Piakura's a gun.
bro. Piakura and Mariner looked good in that trial.
Yeah,
too.
it's not like they would like. Yeah, that's what I'm.
yeah.
He's
Keeping everyone on their toes.
on your toes. 'Cause I'm thinking if I saw Mariner last week and Piakura, I was like, they were two of the best players, and they get demoted. Right, then you'll be doing your own heading for this game, and then going, what's going to happen round 1? And then he'll make him train that. They'll be, oh mate, he's a genius.
Your Bulldogs team is stacked as well, mate. So I just wrote it looks as full strength as possible. So I've got to get back and look at it here. But Connor Tracy fullback, Wilson and Matoya on the wings. Captain Stephen Critter Crichton, Bronson Sherry, Matt Burton, Toby Sexton, Max King, Sam Hughes, Viliami Kickow, Preston, Kurt Mann, Reed Marnie, full deck of cards, mate.
Yeah,
This
probably
game's going to be good. This is going to
other
be the
than
game of the weekend.
The Carraz, I think, in there for probably Wilson. That's probably full strength. Carraz is out.
Gus said
Is he injured?
the back injury is concerning.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's been going for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because remember last year, like he ended up picking it up at the back end, not back end, like his first 4 or 5 games, fucking his back was jacked up. And he got it fixed, so he needs to get that done. This is the game. This is the game of the round.
It'll
I
be
think
good on.
there'll be no like, this is a warm up. This is a full on game.
This will be a good
40 minutes, get all the starters off.
Go to Redcliffe for this double header because
Fucking
the
oath,
Dolphins
go.
versus Titans are up next. They welcome back Hammer, Cody Nikarima, Isaiah Katoa. Avarillo moves back to the centres. Jacob Saifidi and Kuli Kefu Fine Fuiaki make their debuts. And Tom Gilbert is back for the first time in almost a year and a half.
Tommy Gilbert, I want him, just get through. Get through, kid.
And then also, Des is playing mind games already in trials because he's named the same starting lineup as last week with Keanu Kinney, Brian Kelly, Jaden Campbell, Alofiana Campera, and Tino all on the bench. I'm expecting them to start.
They'll all start.
I'm expecting them to start in benchy jerseys. Desi is in week 4
Trial
mode.
game, Des. Come on, mate.
It's not week 3 of the actual regular
Just
season.
get Tino
Desi.
out there
It's
and run him.
trials.
Let's just get Tino out there for 20 minutes and get him off. That's all you got to do.
But that'll be a good little weekend together. Broncos and the Bulldogs.
Like that.
Dolphins and the Titans for a double header up at Redcliffe. So
I'll
looking
pack
forward to
that out. I reckon it's 2 good games.
I got the Husky trial on the weekend too again. So I'll be after this be kicking the feet up
Oh.
and watching that. Yeah. Going down there doing me little sprint.
Yes.
I'm in awful condition for it this year. The ribs fucked me.
Yeah, put you back a bit, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to be struggling.
Yeah, but you're a good swimmer. You're right.
I'm going to have
What
to
about
doggy.
the-
I can't. I've got a
Yeah.
doggy paddle.
I just-
I've got a doggy paddle 750.
Get on someone's back.
750 are the best.
Fucking side stroke. Oh shit, I'm cramping.
I can't.
You can't extend.
No, I tried to do breaststroke the other day and it was hurting like just as well.
Go on your back.
Once I get on the bike and run, I'm going to be sweet.
You reckon you beat my time from last year?
What'd you get?
131.
All right, I'll see. Hopefully, I'll beat that. I'll beat that.
I can't believe you're going to do the swim.
Yeah.
Doggy paddle. Right.
Doggy paddle for 750 are the best.
Do you reckon you might be able to extend a little bit?
No, I
Why not?
tried.
You
I tried yesterday. I tried to swim
shit.
yesterday, and I was like, did like 10 strokes and fucking was like, this feels awful. And especially with people
Breaststroke?
swimming.
You can't do anything.
Well, because I'm going to be swimming like that, and Lukey knows it's so fucking. Everyone's all over top
You're
of
in
you.
a washing machine.
I don't want to risk someone going bang.
Oh,
and
you're
hit
going to
me.
get it, yeah.
So I'm just going to be like that.
Just like praying mantis. How praying mantis would swim.
All right, let's get to the Roosters versus Knights. Sunday, 3:15 p.m. at Industry Group Stadium, Gosford. Teddy's back. Toops is back. Lindsay Collins, Connor Watson, Angus Crichton, Nat Butcher, Victor Radley. Seen Victor. He's pumped for this game as well this morning. Mark Nwika, Nitawasi, and Robert Toya, they remain in the centres. Your man got left out last year. He's back. Siwa Wong.
Yes.
He's playing lock. Rhodes is back on the edge. So it signs that maybe Siwa Wong's had a really good preseason. And looking with all these players that have moved on, he's a player of huge potential for the Roosters.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll probably be looking at all year. These younger kids like the Siwa Wongs and a few other middles to go to that next level. They've got a very good like juniors, like SG Ball and Flegg. They've got some guns in there, some middle forwards. I think they'll slowly start playing first grade this year. So I think Robbo's got a few good young kids there.
Big year for the Roosters. Knights, they welcome back all the All-Stars, Kalen Ponga, Dane Gagai, Leo Thompson, Dylan Lucas. Also, Bradman Best will play his first game.
Jeez.
Fletcher Sharp and Adam O'Brien's at it again. He's changed the spine after a week of a trial. Tyson Gamble will get crack at 7 this week. And I think this is big as well. So Jacob Saifidi's back. Phoenix Crossland is starting over Brayley. So I think that's signs that...
Okay.
And well-deserved too. Nothing against Brayley.
No. Phoenix is...
I reckon he's proven it.
He's got him.
Yeah, he's the guy. Played for the Kiwis last year.
Yeah.
So I'd love for them to just stick with Ponga, Sharp, Gamble and Crossland now for at least 8 weeks. I know results.
This seems like...
I know results
This is his main team, right?
They've got a soft draw, Knights. They've got one of the better draws to start the season.
But like this, like if you're looking at it, you go, this is, he's going to be the 7, Gamble's going to be the 7, or, like Sharp's going to be the 6, Ponga and Phoenix. Is that going to be it? Can we get it for like at least 6 weeks?
I reckon they're locked in at Kalen. They're going to give Fletcher Sharp every opportunity to lock in that 6. Phoenix Crossland is going to be the 9. And they want Tyson Gamble to win this. I believe that. I think that's what they want. All right, let's move to the Storm versus Cowboys. Sunday, 5:15 p.m. at Casey Fields, Melbourne. Cam Munster will be leading the way for this team with Jerome Hughes still out. He'll partner up with Tyron Wishart in the halves. Baby Goat Harry Grant is back at the hooker. So we said, Melbourne weren't missing too many. They were missing a heap. Ali Katoa, Josh King, Trent Liero, they're all back. Will Warbrick, Xavier Coates were missing in that game as well. So Stefano
only 12 starters
at prop. Tui Kamakamitha, Pappy's on the extend bench, and they're giving Saw Falongo another opportunity to start. Yes. I like that, holding back Pappy for round 1. And as for the Cowboys, they've got some stars as well after they were sort of embarrassed against the Dolphins. Tom Dearden, Ruben Cotter, the co-captains are back. We're going to see Drinky, we're going to see Murray Talangi, we're going to see Reece Robson, we're going to see John Bateman for the first time in Cowboys colours. And the most contested positions with Chad Townsend and Val Holmes moving on. Duffy's getting first crack at 7. And Jackson Perdue is getting first crack in the centres.
Yeah. Interesting game. Melbourne don't like getting beat at all on any level, let alone 34 fucking nil at half time. So I'm thinking they're going to smack the shit out of the Cowboys in this trial, just to really flex on them.
Did you see the money man's off the piss as well? He's off the syrup.
Really?
Yep. Going to go off him and
Does that mean that he's just fucking going to kill it this year? Or does it go the other way?
What happened when he did it last time?
Did he kill it when he got off the piss? Year? Did he win everything? 2020?
We're doing content with him back then too.
Yeah, we'll ask him. Yeah,
we can literally just ask.
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't be going like doing shit like that, making it public if it wasn't good the last time.
They're like,
oh yeah, like you played awful when you got off the piss.
Well, him and Husey got the bet on the 167 podcast as well. Shout out to the boys. But Husey said he can't completely give up red wine. So he goes, still want a glass of red wine.
It doesn't count, mate.
It doesn't
red
count.
Wine doesn't count. It's blood of Christ.
All right, that's it for this week. Looking forward to watching the games over the weekend. We'll get a lot more competitive footy. I'm away next week. I'm over in Bali for a wedding. So Josh Reynolds, the grub, is going to be filling in for us in both episodes. So I look forward to having Josh on the episode. I'll be sending in, I guess, I'll still be going through the notes.
Zoom you just here.
Yeah.
Well, you're having a bin tank.
And having my say, but looking forward to the boys getting ready for Vegas. And I will be back to review Vegas round.
Yeah. All right. Have a good week.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website